Good morning. Welcome to the inn. I think my audio is finally working this time. My kick kickoff was a disaster with two streams where none of my audio came through. My bubble is moving on the screen, so I am praying that it is working and someone can actually hear me this time. If not, they're just going to be listening to that nice, relaxing music. Oh, but what is everyone doing today? This is Tuesday, isn't it? I work a weird schedule, so it's hard to keep up with what day it is. I was super busy yesterday. I wanted to put together a few reels for YouTube and Instagram with for the inn, and what was going to be just maybe an hour or two throwing together about four reels to schedule ended up being from about 6 in the morning till almost 1 in the afternoon because I went down the rabbit hole of Canva's brand kit thing. So it would have been faster just to choose my fonts for each individual reel than to try to go through this, which is supposed to save you time. Because every time you do one in the future, it'll automatically know what your brand colors are, your fonts are. So, but it is done. So my brand kit is in Canva. So if you see my reels, you will see my official fonts. They're actually the same fonts I use in my books um, that I use when I format my manuscripts. And speaking of books, I am so excited. Yesterday came in the mail my author copy of the new book, The Beltane Crossing. It is the first of my books where I have actually used one of my own paintings as the cover art. Well, I take that back. I actually painted the painting for the cover art. So I didn't just use an existing painting. I painted it specifically for this book. Okay, I got a picture. Got to show you guys. Let me find. Where's my picture? I just uploaded it. Okay, layers. Okay. EVMux is doing weird stuff. I just uploaded that picture and now my media share layer is gone. What? Okay. Okay. It's not going to derail me. We're going to get through this. Um, okay. I'll have to add it again. Media file. Here it is. Um, and it's not showing. I've got, there it is. Okay, I hope you can see that. It's showing on my screen. Here is the new book and the cover. I think it printed so nice. The picture actually looks a little washed out. The book itself is a little darker, but I'm very happy with the way it turned out. The the cover itself this kind of embodies the first chapter. The scene that the first chapter is setting, that is what I painted. The Fey woman standing between the blooming hawthorn tree at this historic university in Sterling, waiting for her victim, I guess you would say, target. So, and it's a story about a Fey abduction. So, and definitely with ties to the inn, to Mara herself. If you are have gone into any of my stories, been paying attention to the Druidstown Inn world, Mara the innkeeper, her grandson Finn, who is studying hospitality management to take over the inn for her when she retires. He is the one that ends up getting kidnapped by the Fae. So that's the storyline of this book, The Beltane Crossing. So I hope I don't know if you like this kind of stuff, check it out. It is in Amazon now. And of course, my other two books, Tales from the End, is short story. This is, I guess, a novelette kind of thing because it is a single story in a book, but it's not that big. It's a short. I think they call them novelettes, whatever. Um, because it's shorter than a novella, whatever. I'm trying to learn these terms. But my first two books, of course, were the collections of short stories. Each one has like seven short stories. And even though my audio was not working on the last uh, live I did, the story did play. So I hope, and I did put in the comments the timestamp for when the story actually started. So hopefully, even if you haven't, you can go back and check that. It's still up, and you can skip to that timestamp unless you just want to listen to the background music and and listen to the story. That is the first story in the first book, Tales from the End. Now today I'm going to play the second story. We're going to go through the whole books. So if you enjoy the stories, just hang out with us at the end on our lives and we'll go through the books. So I'm going to do the second story today. And I also did I when I was doing the reels, I actually created two new songs to go with some of the reels so that I could cut out a little piece. I made a whole song so I could cut out 12 seconds for a reel. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I did a song about the white stag. I did a song about pretty much for this book, really. I actually used the cover art, animated it into a reel, and created a song about it. You know, kind of warning you about the Faye abductions and things. But now, if you see the reel, it has. Now, I've got it scheduled. I'm not sure when it's going to actually come out because I schedule some ahead, and but it just uses like a little piece of the song. I think it uses the section that talks about if you hear something in the trees or whatever, just leave it. Stay on the road, leave it to the breeze, and just keep going. Don't give them attention because it won't end well. So, okay. And I hope my volume is good enough so y'all can hear me. So, which should we do? Should we do a song first or should we do the story first? Hmm. Let's do the song first. I think it would make sense to do the song first. Now, the story we're going to do today is called The Lost Road. It is it is similar to our first story. Our first story was the end. It was kind of an introductory story to the end, and the story was about the woman who got lost, and the black dog guided her to the safety of the inn. So a lost traveler finding the black dog as a guide. That folklore story. So the second story is similar, but there's no black dog. The black dog does not rescue this man who gets. He doesn't necessarily get lost. He crosses a boundary. And in folklore, I mean, there's lots of different ideas on the boundaries, and we touch on that in a lot of our stories. The one I'm working on right now is that is a theme of it as well. But the idea that a boundary between our world and theirs is something that can be crossed. There are plenty of folklore stories of people who have crossed and come back. The fiddlers who go in to play for fey weddings and come back out 200 years later, things like that. Or, or some just go in for a night and come back out, or whatever. There are lots of stories, lots of stories. Um, and the idea of the boundary, the crossing, which again kind of goes along with the theme of my new book, is some some idea is that you can be taken through the boundary against your will. You can willingly go through this boundary, like the ones who go in to party with the Fae or play music for their festivals and things like that. And even there's a story about the mother who was taken in to care for the baby of the Fae Queen. So there's that story too, going across it. So it's a willing sometimes, and it's also the unknowing. The stories of people, and these continue to modern day, which is fascinating to me, that people just maybe walking in the woods or a deserted area, very calm, peaceful, listening to the birds and everything in nature, just hiking, enjoying, and then all of a sudden everything goes quiet and the air around them just feels different. And I've heard accounts where people say they froze in their steps. They knew something was wrong, or things looked different. Maybe it looked like like a time slip or something, and they would actually start walking backwards without even turning. They'd walk backwards, and as soon as they got to a point where the sounds returned, they knew they were safe and were turned and go a different way. And those stories continue to this day. But this story is similar as to this traveler, I think, accidentally goes through, but he uses more of a folklore way of recovering instead of the modern just backtracking your footsteps kind of thing. This is more of the way a thing in folklore you can do when you find yourself fairy led. And that is a term they use, fairy led, where you end up either lost or going in circles, that kind of thing. So that's what the story is about. And since the song is on a similar theme because it is about crossing the boundary, the idea of crossing a boundary, I think well, we'll go ahead. We'll play the song first, and then we'll do the story and see what you think. So I'm gonna turn this music off so there won't be. And the name of the song is Ishi. I'm not real good at the pronunciations, but that of course means the people of the hills. It refers to the Fae folk, the ones who are believed to reside in the mounds in Ireland. So that's what this song is about. So let me see if I can get it to play. Had some trouble getting the background music to play this morning. Had to actually delete the file and re-upload it. So hopefully this works. We'll see. Yep, it seems to be working. So I'm going to take this other off the screen and we'll give a listen.
When the hill stands open and the old road calls, do not follow the fair ones where the twilight falls. They walk beneath the hollow hill, they dance where mortals feel. If you hear beautiful, bright, and strange to see,
Sorry.
beware the folk of the sea. If you hear their singing, drifting through the trees, Beware the folk of Ishi.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed that. I think the song turned out good. I liked it. So, and that, sorry that when I opened, that's the reel because I wanted you to see the animation. It started playing. Sorry about that. I hope it didn't mess it up too bad. I'm still getting used to all this stuff. Old ladies take time to learn new things, you know. So I hope you are enjoying your morning, and we're getting ready to start our story. So I'm going to put up, I'm going to have to probably click a few things to figure out which is the right picture. Yes, there it is. Okay. This is an image I made from, um, I've actually released this story as a video a while back when the book first came out. It's like a YouTube video. It's got, so this is one of the images from the video. So I'm going to use that just as an idea of the person from the story. So let me find my story here. And I actually think it uploaded as under the music tab. Yep, here it is. So I'm going to see if I can get this started. Make sure it's not looping. And once it starts reading the story, I will mute myself and then pop back in after the story's over. I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, this is the second story from my first book, Tales from the Inn, and it's called The Lost Road. Okay, do I have to? I thought I clicked it. I don't know what is going on with my music tab. I mean, I've uploaded the file, it's there, but when I click play, nothing happens. Okay, I don't know. All right, well, it's not playing. Okay, I'll could do. Let me do this then. Instead of having it on the music tab, let me actually add it as a media file. Let me do that. But that's what I did before. Hmm. What about media share? How do you do that? Media share. Nope, that's for guest. Okay, that won't work. Why is this thing? It's very frustrating. I mean, that song worked. The Ishi worked. Why is this one not working? This is really weird. Okay, well, I tell you what, I will delete it and re-upload it. Let me remove it. Yes, delete the file, which is so weird. Okay, so now I'm going to add it again. The Lost Road. Okay, it is uploading. Okay, click on it. Done. Cross your fingers, everybody.
The Lost Road.
Yay!
The man left the village as afternoon turned toward evening. The sky held that suspended quality between day and dusk when the world seemed to pause. He had walked this road home so many times, his feet knew the rhythm without thought, the rise near the forge, the dip where water pooled, the long stretch past Widow Ashton's wall. He carried a small parcel in his pocket, cheese from the market that would keep through the week. His boots struck the packed earth in steady time. The hedges rose on either side, still green but beginning to turn. In another month they would blaze with autumn, but for now they stood as they always had, marking the boundary between road and field. He noticed the light first, not darker but thicker, gathering between the branches. A crow called overhead, sharp and brief, then vanished. He walked on, his thoughts turning to small, ordinary things: wood to split, a roof to mend, nails he might need to buy, familiar concerns for a familiar road. The bend came sooner than it should have. He slowed. The stone wall was there, the same stones in the same arrangement, yet something about it felt wrong, not different in any clear way, but just enough to unsettle. He stopped and listened. The road lay quiet, no wind, no distant sound, only his own breathing and the faint rustle of the parcel in his pocket. He turned to look back. The distance behind him seemed shorter than it should have been. The village was gone from sight. He drew a slow breath and walked on. The road continued, but nothing appeared where it should. Landmarks failed to arrive. The light faded to a dull gray, softening the edges of things until he could no longer be certain where hedge ended and shadow began. Unease settled in him, quiet but persistent. The hedges pressed closer. The next bend came too soon, and where Miller's gate should have stood, there was nothing, only more hedge, unbroken and dense. He stopped again. This was wrong. He turned slowly, but the road behind him had shortened further, swallowed by shadow. He had walked long enough for distance to matter. It no longer did. He began walking faster. The road bent again and again, each turn arriving too quickly. Nothing remained where it should have been. The oak tree did not appear. The bridge was gone. The land itself seemed to have shifted. Fear came then, not sharp, but certain. When he stopped, he stood at a crossroads that had never been there before. 4 paths stretched away, identical. He turned in a slow circle. There was no way to know which he had taken. For a moment he stood very still. Then the old memory came to him. His grandmother's voice, quiet and certain, spoken years ago by a winter fire. If you find yourself on a road that's gone strange, turn your coat inside out. He let out a breath. It was a foolish thing, and yet... He slipped his arms from the sleeves and turned the coat, working it slowly until the lining faced outward. The fabric felt different against him, unfamiliar. For a moment nothing changed. Then, gradually, something shifted. The air seemed to ease, as though a tension he had not fully noticed had begun to lift. The road ahead no longer twisted away from him. It held. He took a step. The ground felt solid again. Another step. The hedges remained, but they no longer pressed inward. The road stretched ahead, with a quiet sense of direction. He walked on. The night gathered, and the first stars appeared overhead, steady and distant. Ahead, around a bend he could not yet see, there was light, warm light. He followed it. The road narrowed to a cart track before the building appeared. An inn stood at the bend, stone walls dark with age, windows glowing with firelight. Smoke rose from the chimney. He stopped, taking it in. The Hound's Inn. He knew the name, though he could not say how. He approached slowly and lifted the latch. The door opened without resistance. Warmth met him, along with firelight and the quiet presence of a room at rest. A woman stood behind a long wooden counter. She was older, her hair drawn back, her expression steady. "You've had a walk," she said. "I have," he answered, "though I'm not certain how I came here." "The road brought you." He glanced at his coat. "I turned this, something I was told long ago." And the road listened. She stepped forward slightly. "You'll want to set it right now. You've arrived." He turned the coat back, settling it on his shoulders. Something eased within him. "Sit," she said. "I'll bring you something warm." He did. From the chair by the fire, the room felt larger than it should have been. The window softened the dark outside. The heat settled into him. She returned with a cup, steam rising in thin threads. "What is this place?" he asked. "A place between," she said, taking the seat across from him, "for those who find the road changing beneath their feet." He frowned slightly. "I don't understand." "Not yet." He drank. The warmth spread through him, steady and quiet. Outside, the night had fully taken hold. "There's a room prepared upstairs," she said. "Rest. In the morning the road will show you what comes next." He nodded, suddenly aware of his weariness. As he climbed the stairs, he glanced back once. The innkeeper stood by the fire, still and watchful. For a moment he thought he saw something else near the door, a darker shape within the shadow. Then he blinked, and there was only the fire, the quiet room, and the inn waiting. The end.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that story today and hope this helps get you off to a good start this morning. Let's see, go ahead and close that out. And I appreciate y'all hanging out with me this morning, enjoying a little bit of coffee and story and music. I really enjoyed and really hope that my mic carried over and that everyone could actually hear me today. So hopefully that is fixed. I don't understand why the uploads are not working in Evumux. Evmux. I guess that's how you say it. The streaming software. It's frustrating when you have everything ready and you click and nothing happens. But yeah, I still think it went pretty well and hope, like I said, I hope you enjoyed the song and I hope you enjoyed the story. And I'll pop on here again. I'm not sure if it'll be an afternoon, evening by the fire, or if it'll be another morning coffee, because I do have to work the next 2 days. So I will hopefully see you guys after that. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And see you later.